Oh, tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to Friday night here with me, your main man, Timmy Justice. Just made that name up. I don't know why. It just was the way it was going. I very, very nearly didn't stream tonight because I'm fairly tired, whacked. It's been a long week, a lot of stuff going on, and I was very, very, very close to be thinking to myself, "I'll do it tomorrow night. I'll do it tomorrow night." Fell asleep earlier on, and I woke up, took the dog out, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll be in queue it." So we'll just wait until the room fills up with a few viewers. I see we got one viewer in the house. It was unexpected, and I'm late. Late to my own party as usual. And I wasn't here last week because of the Paddy's Day. That was good crack. Played a lot of music with my main man Martin Carlson, a fantastic Swedish musician, and we played for hours and hours on end to a packed room full of pissheads, sound pissheads. So there's some news. Myself and the cowboy will be going to Arizona in a few weeks. Fingers crossed we get there. I'm going to be having to take. I'm going to have to be traveling for 24 hours before I even get to the border. So it's going to be an exciting trip. So who we got? We got Shady Ganley. How you know, Martin? Good to see you. Good to see you too, Shady. Billy White. How you, Billy? Fornan, Jeremy. Is that a Peep? I like your name there. That was from Peep Show. Was it? I don't know. It sounds like it. Fornan, Jeremy. Can we borrow some money because we've spent all of the advance on crack and shoes? And Gog says he wants more Coron Glay, much more Coron Glay. Well, if you ain't gonna come back, what was that line Superhand said when he's on the crack? Well, if you're leaving now, don't fucking bother coming back. So we've got 15 in the room. 15 in the room and one on the screen. I was having a few thoughts, like I'd be scrolling on the internet, crunching up. Ooh, quite expensive as I recall. Hit him with a bat. You hit him. I can't even make a fist when he was holding the baseball mitt. Foswell, hello there. How are you, sir? Any crack? John Batista, skip the owl AZ and head straight for Colorado. I'll sort you out. If I'd known this, I could have. We could have done another one. Where are you in Denver? Are you? We'll. I'm looking at. There's in a pattern. You've changed the name, man. I was gonna say I'm trying to put together for anyone out there who can be of any assistance for gigs in the states. Um, I'm thinking about putting together a tour in September. Myself and the cowboy, the touches, mahahan. And I reckon what we'll do is we'll come to the States, and I'm thinking the first leg, we're going to break it up into regional tours. So I'm thinking the first round will be Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Chicago, Buffalo, Toronto, Boston, New York. I was doing a bit of geographical research during the week. It'd be nice to come over and meet the crew from Maloney's Digest and beyond. I saw this video the other day of this country rap singer from, I think she was from Kentucky, who says, "Drinking, smoking, fighting, riding." And I was like, where did you get that from? If you're in Toronto, give us a bell. Fucking will do. I'll put it out there. Um, so I was thinking, definitely have to go through. I was looking at all the Irish cities, and it seems Buffalo has a rather large one. Massachusetts, Connecticut, Colorado as well. So yeah, it'd be nice to just see some of the lesser spotted parts of the states, man. I'm your man in California. Hey, 10 spots all day. Where are you based, Shady? What part? Stockton, is it? Do you know the Diaz brothers? They're fucking madmen for solid jabs. Ad blocker. Martin, I moved to Buffalo last week. Well, look, we seem to have a good crew of people knocking around. Brian M, what do you think of Steve Coogan's Irish character Martin Brennan? I thought it was good enough that he could play the brother of Mix and Hardy Bucks. Well, his parents are both from Mayo, believe it or not. They're from Partry near Westport. So He'd have it down well now, so he would. He'd have it down well. I'll have to make the trip from St. Louis to Chicago, says Josh TH. Yeah, it'd be nice to see all these places before the whole shithouse goes up in flames. Sacramento, shady handling. There was always, I don't know if you remember those Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboards, but there was one button. How are you, Jade? Chicago is doable. I like your style. Long time no see, Jade. Nice to see you. But there was E-Bombs World used to have this Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard, and it was there was just one in the middle of like, so it'd be like, "What's in the 2 week package?" Hello, who's calling? John. Who? John Kimball. I'm a cop, you idiot. Detective John Kimball. And then later on, you can hear them. He just goes, "Special interests have a stranglehold over Sacramento." So that was like from his political. I wonder if I can get the Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard, flashboard. Man, they were brilliant. Stop it! I'm a cop, you idiot. Fuck you, asshole. Come on, baby. You know you're the girl of my dreams. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Why have you got to do this to me? It's going through. Feckers. Let's see what we got here. Bastard. Bitch. Boris. Bothered. Chopper. Come on. Cookies. Crap. Count on me. Crazy. Disgusting. Who is Daddy? Does he do? Yeah, there's a load of them. I want to talk to the drug dealer of the house. We used to have endless fun with that little soundboard. The Al Pacino one was great. Oh, you just cost me $2,000. You just cost me $2,000. What are you going to do about it, asshole? You company man. What's Adblock says, what's the lad stateside doing with himself, eh? Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard from him for a good while. Go get your mother, please. Yeah, that was a brilliant one, Brian. But the way he says it, just go get your mother, please. It's not a tumor. I met him in Eureka when I lived there after the really big quake. Super short guy in real life. Who, Arnie? I thought he'd be about my height. And I'm only saying that because in Commando, when they're putting out the call to the police in the malls, like Caucasian male, 6'2", but he might not be as tall as people make out. That's probably why he looks so beefy, because he was compressed when he was lifting the weights. Quinn Hensley, how you doing? Do you still speak to Owen C? I was speaking to him last week, actually. You two discussing belting Jimmy Savile's corpse about on the podcast had me crying, laughing. Yeah, that was, just find his skull, encase it in a rubber transparent bouncy ball, and just kick fuck out of it. Jade Ellis, stateside should go for the late late show host. I wonder who that's going to be. I wonder which one of the hackneyed RTE presenters are going to get that very, very handy number. Nerves in the Pattern says, I heard stateside was banged up abroad in the Philippines, charged with crimes against the width. Hold your mind. Stop it! Come on, baby. You know you're the girl of my dreams. Atherton, Atherton game style, exactly. I mean, just belting the. I mean, you got to turn something heinous into something that's family fun. Um, I think instead of having like the Guy Fawkes night, they should just call it Savile night, where you just burn effigies of Jimmy Savile. I think because when you look back at Guy Fawkes, he was only done for blowing up trying to blow up a bunch of wrongins. If you want to look like that. Yeah, in the movies they make him look huge, but he's 5'9". Nah, is he 5'9"? Not at all. I'm gonna have to go Arnold Schwarzenegger, real height. See what's going on. I mean, I don't doubt you. Real height. Arnold real height conspiracy, someone said. Wow. It says here, yeah, exactly my height. It says Arnold Schwarzenegger's real height is 6 feet 1 inches. He has listed as his height on his official website as well as his driver's license. But then there's a conspiracy. I might just put in real height conspiracy. See what's said about this. He wears Cuban heels. The ongoing mystery of Arnold Schwarzenegger's actual height. For years, Schwarzenegger's official height has been listed at 6 foot 1.5 or thereabouts, but the number has failed to satisfy reporters. Has Arnold Schwarzenegger been lying about his height? Officials say his height is 6 foot 2, though his celebheights.com page, one of the most visited on the entire site, lists the star. I have to go into yahoo.com to try and find out the height of Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a lot of things: a bodybuilder, an actor, a producer, a politician, a businessman, an internet legend, an all round cultural icon. One thing he may not be, though, is a very tall man. Despite his reputation as one of the most physically honed human beings to ever step foot on Hollywood soil, not only knows how tall the man once called the Austrian oak is, though he has tried to tell us himself. I'm 6 foot 2. I've heard rumors that I'm actually much shorter in real life, like 5 foot 6 or something like that, which is ridiculous. I can assure you this is not the case. Arnie once boasted. People look up to me, and not just because of all the work I do in the community. I mean, most people really look up to me. Only the internet isn't easily convinced. The issue of Arnie's height appears to come from a clash between his reputation as an immense Adonis turned actor and apparently average height, giving the action icon a distinctly squat appearance. If he weren't so ripped, would anyone notice? The article continues. Have you seen Chris Fontaine's videos? The character is hilarious. Yeah, I didn't know what that was about, man. I thought that was like some sort of character from that no LA Noir game. Maybe 5'10. Yes. What's in the 2 week package? I'd like to book a room, please. Can I please have a blanket for my friend? He is dead tired. What I like, yeah, it's like he might even like the time I met Tom Cruise. Everyone was like, "How small is he gonna be?" And I was like, "Oh, he's fucking average enough." Unless he had some serious secluded heels going on. Hercules in New York was the greatest movie. I am in the gym. I'm coming. I'm coming all the time. It's brilliant. And he's just like this, smoke the joint. And 1 second, let me just let this cat out. 1 second. Every time. Yeah. Yes. No, I know you don't. Come here. Malish. Fucking hell. Malish. Constant fighting here between the dog and the cat. It's like cat and dog. Black cat leave. Orange cat came in. 8 ball. What about you, mate? Fucking tell you. What are you talking about, Arnie Schwarzenegger? Or Arnie the Catman that drinks in. Hey, Wad, do you fancy coming on for a bit of a chat? Like, if you want to come in, Wadders. If you want to come in, Wadders. I'll just follow that door link there. Hey, you're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, Arnie the Catman that drinks in Beestrooms. I was talking about Arnold, the sensation, the bodybuilder. He builds his body. Come on there for the crack runners. But it seems to be a quiet night on the old stream tonight. I've noticed the views are dropping. Maybe people are like, oh God, is he going to be talking about fucking kind of shit as usual? Yeah, maybe. Or I don't know. I've got to up my production value with like bells and whistles and just have little, if I had one of those little Elgato stream decks, I think I might have one of them somewhere, but it's just the fucking hassle of trying to sort of like what I wanted to do a couple of years ago was just to be able to master all of this kind of this home broadcasting stuff with little bells and whistles, and it's just like the computer does not have the capacity to run OBS so smoothly. Sean O'Sullivan, why do you keep shilling for Russia? That's a very good question. I'm not shilling for Russia. I'm on the side of peace. So you can make it that what you want, mate. But I'm not shilling for anybody. I look at the fact that there has been absolutely no effort whatsoever to try and stop this before it started. And the entire Western world seems to be in lockstep. Basically, it was like, here, Corona replaced for war. And, I think all of these Western leaders were all World Economic Forum members. So you could go even further out and just be like, is it just a planned fucking depopulation event? Economic Forum members. Further out and just be like, is it just a planned depopulation event? Ukraine and Russia up there. What about you, sir?
What's going on here?
Wild feedback, hey. Ukraine and Russia up there.
We're getting a lot of back there, right?
I can. Stick up the gain a touch there, hey.
If it's any better marching.
Yeah, that's better. Ted Lands. So we can address Sean Sullivan's because we've had a lot of these conversations about Russia and whatnot. And I remember in the beginning when it started, you had like the same, you were talking about the whole Ukraine thing. But I look at it as being like, why the fuck didn't anyone stop this before it started? And if you go back to Hillary Clinton 2017, before the election with Trump, it looked like there was going to be a hot war there. And the thing is, like without trying to blow my own trumpet or anything, I've spent the last like 12 years with a personal interest in geopolitical events. So sometimes if you don't have the time or the interest to look into these things as deeply as I have, then it might look like I'm talking crazy shit. But that's just because, okay, Sean, I'll put it to you like this. Do you think the invasion of Libya, which is now a completely failed state, do you think that was justified? Do you think using Syria and training ISIS and al-Nusra and then going in and taking their oil fields, do you think that was justified? Or do you think the war in Yemen is justified?
Or do you think that the ongoing occupation of Ireland by the British?
Or the ongoing occupation of Ireland by the British?
Malish,
cheeky fucker. It says here, right? Is this easy? Russia goes home and the war is over. And what happens when they pull out then to what happens to the people who are left in, let's say, if they pull completely out of the Donbass and Crimea, what's going to happen then when Ukraine forces go in to those people who identify as being Russian? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here, and I'm just basically, I don't. First of all, I've seen enough videos of both Russians and Ukrainian young men being killed needlessly, and I just want to make my point that I do not condone the invasion in the first place. I didn't think it was going to do it. I was wrong about that, and I fucking hate to see the fact that there are young people being killed and millions of people displaced. I think that the obviously it was unacceptable to go and do that. But at the same time, the West is complicit in this. Like there's like Ursula von der Leyen talking about sending weapons. Why isn't anyone talking about peace? If you've seen two lads knocking the shit out of each other on the street, the first thing you would do before they killed each other was break the fight up. That's the first thing.
Let it shoot one referee and let the fight continue.
Fair play, man. Fair play, man. What do you think? What do you think, Rod, about the whole crack? You know, like later on, it's like COVID. In the beginning, I was like, "Fuck," I was all,
I
you
was
know,
obviously fucking Russia shouldn't be there, but at the same time, there's zero want on on the West to try and de-escalate this. It's like anyone like the Americans, the British, everybody that's fucking shouting from the rooftops about it's the people that's making money from it.
do you see? Here's see. Here's the thing as well, right? Is the US war machine, or the let's say it's all geopolitics, and it's basically propping up proxy armies. You see, the thing is, General Barnett wrote a book. Can't remember the name of it, but I need, if someone can in the chat can fill me in on these details. The last thing that US, like, here's the thing, the by and large the people of the US are fantastic, really nice people. You know, growing up, I suppose I consumed so much American culture that I was, for all intents and purposes, thinking like an American living on the east of the Atlantic. And the more you kind of, you know, you watch all these war movies, and you know it's which is basically a form of propaganda. You know, I mean, it's commonly known that that Hollywood works with intelligence services and to make it almost like glorify it in war and whatnot. But you know, once you start going in, I think it was Haman who was the one who first kind of broke that illusion for me in 2005, when I was like, "Oh man, do you want to go to the States?" He's like, "Where would I want to go there?" I'm like, "Why not, man? It's fucking class." They had CIA interrogation and torture schools in Panama, where they took a naked man and woman and they shocked their genitals live on stage as people watched how to figure out how to do this. And I was like, "What they did?" And then, you know, then you had to look at the.
Sorry, do you know the thing called shock economics? This Herman's always on about this as well. So this, I think it was Klein wrote like done the expose. So there was a university or a college in America, and they come up with this thing of, if you take away as much off people as possible and then give them back a small bit, then that leads to privatization. It's basically like the
Oh, yeah.
breakdown.
But that's
So
what they've done to Sweden, Rod. It's like
so
Sweden was. They've done it to
chili,
Sweden.
and the two big proponents of this was Thatcher and Reagan. So they used chili as a guinea pig and put Pinochet in.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and they absolutely destroyed the place and then gave them a small bit back. And Chile was like the most progressive, one of the most progressive countries on that whole landmass.
Rod, what do you think of Sean's question here? Just to be clear, if Russia go home, the war is over.
It's kind of true, but the thing is, though, where's home? Because most of them borders are like, it's man-made borders, right? And there's a large part of that that's like ethnic Russian as well. So it's not that straightforward. Like Russia just.
The thing, Stalin gave Ukraine. I don't know if it was Lenin or Stalin gave Ukraine. I mean, and the thing is, like, the northeast.
Russia started in Ukraine. Russia started in Kiev.
In Kiev, yeah. Oh, and the Russians come from, the word Russia comes from Rus, and Rus come from the Vikings that came from Roslag, which is north of Stockholm. So while you had the Norwegian and the Danish went west, a lot of the Swedes went into Kiev. So
is that what you were murdered in the Vikings?
That's fucking right, hey. Justice for Vigrid, hey.
Sorry, just on that as well, there's an area there where it's like there was Putin had a deal with NATO of, right, will not fucking come within a certain distance or whatever countries, and then they went in the EU and then the Latvia and Estonia, and it's up to them countries. They choose if they want to be in the EU, right? But not in NATO. And then people ask, what if Russia put nuclear missiles right on America's doorstep? What would happen? They did that once. Remember the Cuban Missile?
Yeah, Cuban Missile Crisis.
They brought the world. The Americans are going to fucking
Well, imagine, if you will, that that basically, let's say Russia went into Mexico and they were like, okay, we're going to arm and train. Um, we're going to basically pump money in. We're going to sort out the cartels, and we're going to train up the, let's say, the Mexican army to fight off any existential threats, and they're going to ally with Russia. And oh yeah, let's just put a couple of nuclear missile silos here in Mexico for safekeeping. Let's say they had like a counter to NATO, like another alliance. I mean, the whole reason, right? Russia and Europe are getting too cozy with the fact that Russia has an endless supply of natural gas, and Europe is an economic powerhouse with IT and with manufacturing, like Germany. And what your man General Barnett was saying was, if Europe, the whole bloc of Europe and Russia had come together as one solid block, they had full spectrum dominance and as a coalition. So now what basically America has done, and European Union and NATO, they've basically replaced that cheap gas that's going into Europe, which is going to put things into a very difficult situation here. And that business and all that energy is now going to go to India, and it's going to go to China. So now what's happened is China, which isn't a natural, you see, China want to go ahead with the Belt Road Initiative, because at the moment China can't, all of its exports have to go around the Cape of Africa, whereas the Belt and Road Initiative will go right through the Caucasus, right through Mongolia, and into Ukraine, and that will say that basically they can just by rail or by rail or road, they can take goods straight from China into Europe, and that means they can bypass the maritime threat, which is the US, because you've got this burgeoning tension with all these man-made islands off the coast of in Southeast Asia. So it's all fucking business.
And then Thailand. The big problem is that fucking the Europe and America is run by the corporations. Russia is run by Putin and is fucking Putin's mafia, basically. Do you know what I mean? It's like Russia is one of the most corrupt.
Yeah, as is Ukraine, man.
Yeah, of course. So Zelensky was caught in them Panama Papers. Like, he's no angel either. And it's like, the thing is, though, the society now has become this so polarized that it's like you have to pick one side or the other. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's left wing or right wing or trans or anti-trans or fucking Russia or Ukraine. It's not a fucking football match.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because the thing is, like, I've had arguments with pro-Russia people, and I've had arguments with pro-Ukraine people, but the majority of people who are from the West literally have no idea about the backstory and how long this has been going on for. Like, it's something that I find interesting. But Ukraine is that key wedge between Europe and Russia.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you turn that into a war zone.
That was always the deal that Russia had with NATO and America, was not to go near that. And then when they wanted to get into the EU, they overthrew your man. But I will say that I know Ukrainians and Russians personally. More Ukrainians than Russians, to be fair, both here in Sweden, and like there's a good friend of ours living in, two good friends, a good friend of yours and a good friend of mine living in Moscow, two Irish lads.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody in Russia thinks it's right, and I most certainly don't know anybody in Ukraine thinks it's right that Russia should have invaded or should be even there. What they've done is a disaster. But
see, the thing is as well, in the eyes of the likes of George Soros, right? A man who. No, but okay. I mean, like, do you think like he's a philanthropist, but he's got some. He's even admitted that he has some messianic complex, and he just seems to be a spiteful prick that wants to do as much damage before he checks out, and then pass the torch on to his son. And I think
I don't know that much about him, right? But if like, what's the worst thing he's done?
I mean, where do you begin, man? You know, like
I don't
if
know,
you want to go historically, he was the one who
no,
he.
give me one example of something like for example, if you said,
Okay, the 1992 recession in England, he shorted the pound, fucked that up for. So there was a huge recession. He crashed the Thai baht in '95, and you know
yeah,
he
but
started off as a hedge fund banker
not
who
that I agree with
worked
it.
for
It's
the
not,
Nazis in the 40s. And there's a video out there where he says it himself. Yes, I took land and property from the Jewish community in Hungary, and I have to say they were some of the best days of my life. So you know
I'm
that's
not, I'm not laughing.
self-confessed on 60 Minutes.
I
Um,
genuinely don't know, yeah, but it's like because you can see it plainly. You can go like, "Bo Gates, I see what you're at, you fucker." Do you know what I mean? It's like where Soros is kind of you hear everybody just keeps on about him, but you never kind of see what exactly what
yeah,
he's doing.
you see,
It's not as clear.
no, but it is because I never heard about him until a couple of years ago. I think he first popped up on my radar in like 2016, and I was like, and then you see, I saw this thing in Hillary Clinton doing a speech. I don't know if it was like a political action committee speech, but she basically made a gushing thank you to George Soros. And then you
Yeah,
realize that the DNC is bankrolled. He's one of the biggest donors to the DNC. And he's got a chip on his shoulder with China at the moment. And he doesn't like Russia because Russia is the not like for just objectively, plainly speaking, Russia that suffered some of the worst fucking horrors any nation has ever endured during the 20th century. And then the Americans came in after the fall of the Berlin Wall under Gorbachev and Yeltsin, and they just plundered the place, and it threw the Russian people into the shit big time.
it wasn't the
And then
Americans plundered it; it was the Russians plundered it themselves.
yeah,
They
but
all
a lot of
clubs now.
yeah, but it was also it was with America with American elites as well. Like you got to ask yourself, what the fuck was the president's son, Pelosi's son, what's his name, John Kerry's son, and there's another one high up like
Biden's son as well was living
Biden's
in
son. Yeah,
Ukraine as
what were they
well.
all doing over there with Burisma and all these energy? You know,
Like the whole
it
thing's
is
wrong.
one of the most corrupt places.
People
Human
are for it.
trafficking, like or the amount of mad shit that goes on over there. And the thing is as well that the northwest part of Ukraine is really heavily has just a culturally far right wing Banderite Nazi. It's part of the culture,
Yeah,
and
but
that
it is very right wing. Yeah,
and a lot of
it
people
was.
don't know that after World War II, the England and America used the Banderites to fight another war with Russia. So they used them as a proxy army to fight Russia, and about 300,000 people died in that war. Then there was the Volhynian massacre in I think it was 39, where basically 300,000 people, mostly women and children, were butchered by the Banderites.
And after the war, after World War.
No, but this is because Hitler used them
Oh
as
fuck yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of the reasons. One of the reasons they fucking are
so it
people
says
like.
here the Kisielin massacre and slaughter of Polish worshippers on the 11th of July 43 when units of the UPA supported by local Ukrainian peasants surrounded Polish. It basically says deaths 50,000 to 100,000 Poles, 340 Czechs. So this happened over a course of a year. And then, Ukraine itself has also been a victim of, the Holodomor, which 10, up to 10 million people were starved by the Soviet Union. So that whole area has been like you got Poland, Ukraine, Russia, the Baltic states, Germany, all of these countries, all of these nations across Central Europe have just witnessed some of the worst bloodshed imaginable.
Yeah,
Now,
that's real. Yeah. Sorry, I can't see. I can't see Sean Sullivan's comments from the wine bottle.
what does it say here? So somehow this was unacceptable for 70 years, and somehow Putin decided, listen, Sean, you've just got to fucking put the, you've got to put the, what you've got to look at this through an objective, like instead of having a partisan, zealot approach, you have to basically look at both sides and then come to your conclusion, and you have to do your own research.
I thought comedy.
Sorry?
I thought this was a comedy podcast.
Oh, well, it is, but like it's just fucking like at the moment there's so much shit going on in the world. It doesn't.
I know, I'm joking.
Like how can you make fun of something that is already making fun of itself? You know what I mean? It's like you look at the world. It's like we're living in a fucking a mega episode of Brass Eye. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's you know, we're at a stage where now comedians are the only ones who are saying like that everything's fucking flipped. Everything's
we were talking about this recently, weren't we? That the politicians now are the people that we laugh at. The comedians are actually our political commentators. They're the people that we get to look for advice from.
It's like look at Jimmy Dore, comedian. Look at Russell Brand, another comedian.
And Russell Brand's kind of, I can see that his views and my own views have kind of moved around the same time as well. Because I would always like to consider myself like socialist, left wing, whatever way you want to call it. But then it's like nowadays I don't even know what that is anymore.
And look, all they are is they're just ways of putting people into a category, into a box. Stay in your box. That's your. Whereas basically, it's people can't you know. I think the only way to fucking survive this world is to have a flexible opinion, to be able to, if you're wrong about something, to be like, okay, I was wrong. There's no shame in that. It's like new information, but to cling on to things because you put too much energy into it, it's throwing good money after bad in terms of just holding on to these things out of like, you know, it's like people who don't want to accept something that is glaringly obvious with time. Let's say the pandemic, because they know that if they do, they know it, that they've been lied to. It's like Mark Twain said: it's easier to fool the people than to convince them they've been fooled. Because as soon as you realize one thing is bullshit, then you're like, what else is bullshit? And then everything unravels. And then, you know, you're like, well, what the fuck is real? So rather than accept that.
No such thing as Santa Claus, you were like, what?
What?
Again, you were waiting next year, you were waiting to be told there was no such thing as Jesus. Like, you didn't know where it was going to stop. Like, what other lies have been told? In other words,
yeah, I mean, look, we don't. The thing is, you've got. It's an interesting thing Sean brought up. You have heads of state, and the head of state usually, you know, it's funny. Like if you look at, it's not funny, but it's just the winners of any conflict. You know, the winners of conflict rarely get tried for war crimes. You know what I mean?
Never. Do you know how many Americans have ever been tried for war crimes?
Yeah, and as a nation, they
like who's going to hold them
dropped 2 fucking atomic bombs on a country that was already capitulated.
The Brits in Dresden as well, and whatever.
Yeah, Dresden. Yeah, and then there was the sinking of the Gustav as well, which was full of civilians and injured soldiers.
And Derry and Ballymurphy, and you could go on. But you know, it's like the whole story.
Like you grew up around the border. And you know, you basically essentially lived in an era of visceral conflict. You know, and it's like these things take years, if not centuries, to heal. You know what I mean? So what's happened with this conflict in the Ukraine is this is just fucking. You may as well have just taken a big axe to Europe and just slashed it down the middle.
There's only a small handful of people still alive that fought in World War II, for example. Yeah. But it's got such a psyche on everyone, doesn't it? Because it's left it's just left such a fucking print. And
that's the other thing, Rob. An interesting point you raised there. Like quite a lot of statesmen and people that were in governments after World War II served in the military, and everybody was on the same page where they were like, look, we can't do this again. Now most people are dead. I think there's a kind of a humanity has this weird kind of curious, it's curious. I don't know. It's like on one half, they're like, oh, that'll be a bit of action. You know what I mean? And you know, the idea is exciting. Oh, there'll be a war. Fucking hell, that'll be mad. Like shit's gonna go out the window. But it's not. It's you think the lockdown was bad, man? When if there's like martial law and bombs flying and people getting fucking shot and pulled out.
I'm sure you've heard me tell some of the big tough Swedes in the bars around here a few times. Like, be careful what you wish for, because they haven't had a war and fucking.
Yeah, and they've just voted here to be into NATO.
Exactly. They're all like fucking gung ho. I'm going to be careful what you wish for, because like it isn't much crack that way.
No, it's fucking not. And you know, Harry was saying to me once, he was saying that the east the east of Sweden, that's where all of the communication hubs are for Europe. You got all the data centers up and down like from Gävle to Stockholm and Umeå. Yeah, just like you can imagine, take them out.
I think it's the most in Europe are all up.
Yeah, so he was saying that Sweden went from being in the one of the in the bottom of 100 places to be striked to like the top 5.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's more nuclear ready bunkers in Stockholm than there is in any other city in the world.
Yeah.
Because I can see 2 from here, from out the window. Like it's like, you know, like
every apartment has like a room with like a huge concrete.
But there's some massive ones like under Sluice. Do you know where the thing under Sluice on that big rock? Like, there's one there that holds something like 80,000 people.
80,000 people.
Oh, it's huge. Like it's a car park now. But it's they keep. I think it was when the Russians invaded Crimea that they fucking started updating. Now they started like up on the maintenance and all these. Like they're there since the Cold War.
That's funny. I am hi Justin, how are things? This is interesting. Eisenhower and Churchill never mentioned the camps in their war memoirs.
Exactly. Churchill created the concentration camps.
That's an interesting one. In my opinion, World War I was a depopulation program by the rich to wipe out the middle to lower class citizens. World War II was a remapping of regions to form a creation of the European Union. Do you know what? It's interesting. You should look up. You should look up the lineage of von der Leyen and who her grandfather was, and on both sides, she's and on the mother's side, I think they're called Rose something. I can't remember, but it doesn't lend much credibility when you can't remember details. But apparently they came from like a slave owning family. I can look it up now.
What?
Von der Leyen. I mean, like, look, she fucking screwed everyone with her husband who worked. I don't know. It was during the pandemic as well, and wanting this bullshit of green passes.
I think World War I was a funny one of even how it started. For me, it was like there was like one of your mates could somebody started them in a bar, and they didn't even want to fight, but then the fight started, and then somebody went to stop it, and then they get hit. And then somebody went to pull somebody back, and the next thing, the whole fucking bar is fighting with one another. Like I kind of with World War I, just like started kind of a bit slow to start. We fucking heard and all that. Just like,
yeah, well, basically what it was is, you had these. Well, the Austro-Hungarian Empire ruled over what's Yugoslavia, which has now been balkanized, and they were getting tired of being subjects of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So Franz Ferdinand's uncle he ruled with an iron fist, but when Franz Ferdinand came along, he wanted to basically relax things and have more of a diplomatic relationship and give more like autonomy to the regions. But the guy who shot Franz Ferdinand and his wife, I can't remember. They were called the Black Hand was the name of the. He was a 19-year-old guy. I forget his name, And he was the one who, when they were doing target practice, he was the worst shot and managed to do the job. Now, when they were shot, the Austro-Hungarian Empire were furious and they went to war. It was like half the population were like, this isn't a good idea. The other half were like, let's go to war. They went to war, and they were aligned with Prussia. So you had the Austro-Hungarian Empire and Prussia, which at the time would have consisted of the Baltic states, I think Poland as well, all the way up to Finland, close enough to that. But actually, probably look at it on the map. But I'll just go from one I can remember anyway. So
did just go here too. Sorry, going all over Franz Ferdinand. Why that first record was class. It must be the second album. How to be?
And then Justin. Iron Man goes there in the movies, the biggest internet hub in Sweden. Oh, really? Yeah. And a lot of them are underground as well.
WikiLeaks was. This is where WikiLeaks is as well.
Is it?
It's just down the road from here.
Oh, I know the place you're on about. On the hill.
Aye, don't say
about steam coming out of it. Yeah, the underground bunker that's now got. Yeah, that's pretty impressive underneath Vita Berry's parking. But basically, what happened was Russia was aligned with England and France and Austro-Hungary and the Hungarian Empire and Prussia, Germany got together, formed an alliance, and the Germans were fighting the Russians on the Eastern Front while they were fighting England, France. I think Italy got involved, and they were on the side of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Bastards are at it all the time. You ever notice that?
Yeah. So it's all these aristocratic bloodlines, man. They don't give a fuck because it's not them. In the old days, at least, people like kings and noblemen. See, one thing I remember reading once where it was the World War One was to get rid of nobility. It was because back when World War One started, you earned your titles by being on the battlefield, and it wiped out nearly all of European nobility in those early stages of the battles. So, like like if you look at the devolution of society, like people had manners and people had decency. The way they conduct themselves, and you kind of like you consider like across continental Europe and the globe. Most of the people who did the fighting in the early stages of both of those world wars were killed. And then you have the reserves, and then whoever was left. So you're the best of humanity in terms of men and capable, strong men were wiped out. Same thing in Ukraine at the moment, like and Russia. A lot of Ukraine's best units have been wiped out, and what's going on in Bakhmut's a fucking shit show, man. And it's
like if you've been in Russia, haven't you? And the whole like babushka like culture thing, because it was like all that was left was kind of like grannies basically after World War II. There were no men left, and they done all the work. They went out and dug the roads and worked in the fields and fucking. So they're kind of revered now. It's babushka, is that what you call it?
Yeah, babushka, yeah.
And it's like it's fucking very interesting because there was basically no men left, and like even in say World War One, my granddad's two brothers, older brothers. One of them fought in 1916. One of them was fighting in Dublin during the Rising, and the other one never come home from Flanders.
Really?
One of them was in the IRA, the other was in the British Army.
See, that's the really tragic thing about Ireland's history.
That was a common enough thing. But the guy that went for World War One, there was a whole regiment that went from Donegal, and under the promise of
Home Rule under Redmond.
Under Redmond.
You didn't miss an awful lot, Jack lad. So I mean, you'll enjoy the chat. But I just think if we're not careful as a global society, and we don't we don't get a fucking handle on this immediately, then the third one's going to be a fucking shit show, man.
I think it's like I think we might just about escape it because of our age, but the next generation or two is fucking.
Yeah, I mean, your son, he's that age, and I mean, like, you don't want your fucking kids going off killing other people's kids for
Oh, for
something that
sure.
some
And
corrupt criminal elite are
that's the
happy
way.
to send them to the meat grinder.
I think when
I was talking. Sorry, I have to say something for a sec. I was talking to a really nice lady who from the school today. She's Armenian, and I remember last year she looked really worried and she was sad because the Armenian Uzbekistan war. She was leaving the school today, so I said to her, I was like, it's sad to see you go and whatnot, and then I said to her, did you ever find out what happened to your cousins? Because two of them were missing. One of them, they got his body. They're 20 years old. They managed to retrieve the body and give him a burial. The other lad who was 41, her husband's cousin, they managed to retrieve the wedding ring that was taken by one of the what's the Azerbaijani guys. That's it. The body didn't come back. Saw a video of like this young lad who was saying that the families of the dead soldiers are supposed to get compensation, but there's so many of them that are just blown to bits with artillery, so that there's nothing left of them. So they're saying, oh, they're missing, so they don't even get compensated. Yeah, the Young Turks, that's it. And then you have those wankers in America who call themselves the Young Turks. That Armenian genocide was, I think that was only recently that was officially recognized as. Well, everything is stacked against us, and we're all distracted cattle. Yeah, man, big time. Like that as Nerves in a Pattern was saying, the game of soccer on both sides played Christmas Day during World War One. Infuriated leaders and rulers on either side, bad, evil scummers. It did because they realized, what are we? It's like when Roger Waters wrote in Us and Them of Pink Floyd. Us and them, after all, were just ordinary men. And it's like, I see the good in it. I mean, there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of fucking severely damaged, bad people with bad intentions out there. But most people just want to get on with their life and live an ordinary life.
You've traveled quite, like you've met a lot of nationalities and you've traveled a lot around the world. Would you say like 95% of people just want to fucking make a couple of quid, fucking hang out with their friends, look after their family? But like the huge majority don't want any.
It's not in like it's not normal, man. You know what I mean? It's not normal to go and fucking brutally take the lives of people and watch your friends die. Look at all these people who've come back from. Look at the Vietnam War, sending fucking 19-year-olds, as Paul Hardcastle would say. The average age of a combat soldier was 19 with the draft. Kids, man. And when I was 19. I would have fucking gone out and fought because I was believing the shit that I was reading on the news. Fox News, terror alert. You know what I mean? And it's
when
like
I was 19, it was like obviously it was going on in the north at the time, and what you were seeing, that's when everybody where I'm from, that's when you knew the mainstream media was liars like the BBC, ITV, because you'd be seeing and hearing what was happening, and then you'd be seeing it on TV about how it was being reported. And it was like Irish terrorists today, all this kind of stuff. And like the army was fucking bad. Like, they were not good people. Like, you know what I mean? They were like, it was their job to annoy you as much as possible. And it was like, so everybody
being antagonized in your own homeland.
Yeah, for sure. You had a mistrust of the mainstream media straight away. And I think at home, it's weird because normally you don't have an interest in politics when you're young, and then as you get older, you develop it. But I think I'm the opposite, and I think it's good
gone the other way
as well. Yeah, because you were like completely politicized from a young age, and as you get older, you just kind of want to chill out. And I think that it's like I told you before, that most people are either like really successful or alcoholics around our area. Like there's no in between at all. It's weird, like.
Do you know? It's frustrating. Like I was into politics when I was about 19, 20, and I was hanging out with people from Trinity, drinking cans of Bav on the. I had a lot of mates in Trinity, so I lived the cultural life of Trinity without being there. So, but like everyone was talking politics, and then just one day I was like, why am I fucking talking about this shit, man? I mean, literally, it makes fuck all difference. But then a couple of years ago, I don't know, just I started looking at things. I was like, this is fucked, man. This is just really, we're not in a good situation here. And I think the attitude of saying to yourself, well, I can't do anything about it, is in many ways futile, because you don't know, like it's the ripple effect. It's like if you throw like a handful of pebbles into a pond, those ripples intersect. And I think the consequence of our actions and our words and our thoughts and habits interact with those other ripples around us. And you know, sounds,
That's why I think you do a good job. A lot of people that have got their own channels and got their own thing, they shine a light on all this. So the thing is, like, there's so many people that know all this stuff as well, which is crazy. Like, people are well read. People educate themselves now. They don't trust the mainstream media.
yeah,
Like, there's a lot of people. Like, it wasn't like this 10 years ago. It really
you've got. I
wasn't.
mean, people have become autodidactic, but the thing is, you can't trust everything. I mean, you've got to be as discerning as possible. But there is pattern recognition. And all right there, Graham Russell, lad. Tommy Gibbons, General Merchant. That whole scene is top tier, mate. Tommy Toothbrush, Tommy Gibbons.
Is he his Fauster, or are you just guessing?
Yeah, he's Graham Russell. He's a good lad, man. He's a fucking good lad. Fuck, I was going to say something about that. Oh yeah, well here's a joke I made up the other day. Why were Tyrannosauruses so aggressive?
Why?
Couldn't scratch their arse. Little hands. Couldn't.
Jeremy Beetle hands.
They must have been tormented. Eric, I'll get to you later on, mate. I'll get to you later on. We'll just there's a man here trying to get in. Hey,
there's a new plantation in Ireland. Over 50,000 undocumented military age males. Yeah, keep Irish white. So. I'm joking. No, I like it. It's so easy for me to say when I'm living in a different country, but I do have a bit of a problem with Irish people talking about immigration a lot when there's like a 50 million of us around the world.
Oh yeah, that's a subject I don't want to fucking get into.
No, me either. But it's like there's a new plantation.
Again, here's the thing, right? And this is my rule of thumb when tackling any controversial. You have to be Socratic, and you have to take everything into consideration, and you have to basically be a judge. You have to look at the evidence that is presented to you, and then you've got to basically try and be schmelik in here, but you have to be as balanced as possible when dealing with these things. And look, there are things, right, that there are certain things that are happening that if you fucking question, or if you make it glaringly obvious fucking things that recently you would have noticed and went, what the fuck, and people would have been on the same page. But the honest conversation has been conflated with hate. I see this word hate, like this Jeremy Marsh, this Jeremy Marsh guy. It's like, hey, I was just thinking about everybody who's giving me hate online, and he literally looks like the guy from fucking Silence of the Lambs, man. And it's like, all the hate, and it's like the word hate. It's like it's a very strong word to use. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it's a word that I wouldn't say. It's a very rare occasion that I would actually say. I hate.
If somebody's saying something to you online, it's a step down from verbal abuse. It's not exactly hate.
Yeah, I mean,
I know words are important in the heart and stuff like that as well, but that's why I used to on Facebook and Twitter and stuff.
Twitter is becoming like an aggregate of fucked up things around the globe, And like, if you're on Twitter as much as I've been, and I'm trying to abstain and get off it because, you know, it seems to be, it just seems to be, okay, so Elon Musk gave back, it made it, I'm getting the word, nonce. There we go. Actually, there's this guy before, or let me just, I'll continue on. Remind me about Barry Maguire. You got to follow this lad on Instagram. He's a Scouse boxer, and he's fucking hilarious, man. He goes, and Kingpin nonce, Dr. Fauci. We're like, Kingpin nonce. I've been using that phrase all day. But Twitter, right? Elon leveled the playing field, right? He leveled it. But now what's happened is, one thing that worries me is there's going to be a fucking backlash against all the bullshit and the nonsense that we've seen over the last 10 years. And then there's going to be a backlash of people who go, fuck this, let's go. And then those people who've been putting up with this shit, and rightly so, are pissed off. But when they get really pissed off, they're going to be super pissed off to the point where it's like, I fucking had enough, don't care. People throw caution to the wind. There's a huge fucking backlash. And then there's another conflict. And then the fuckers who are pulling the strings at the top sprung the trap using these people who think they're woke crusaders as bait. Because what they're doing is they're propping up different various groups and giving them immunity to behave and carry on however they like. Yeah. Special protections. And you got another group who are basically being marginalized. And then, so what's going to happen if you this is balkanization of society. And of course, for every action, there is an equal reaction. And it's going to be it's all like, I don't trust anybody. I don't fucking trust anybody. I listen to people, but I think there's so much of this shit that has been propped up, and it's setting people against. It's like, we'll push these forward, then we'll push this crowd forward, and it's like, man, everything's fucking algorithm.
It's going to smack us like a fucking elastic. You know,
we've spoken about this before, man. We said there's going to be a global civil war.
Well, yeah, for sure. It'll happen. Start in America as well.
Well, look at France, man. How the fuck has that Macron clan been? Like, I don't believe in. Like, I think votes in all countries, they're bullshit, man. They're absolute bullshit. They're like, I literally, you think, how does a wanker like Macron, a banker wanker, get in as the head of state for France? Is that it? How are these mediocre dickheads the only? I mean, literally, you could go to a fucking bin man. I'm not knocking bin men. I'm saying, like, you could go to a man, or you could go to someone who works on a fucking fishing trawler, or you could go to a nurse, or you could go. There is thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of more empathetic, capable, pragmatic, considerate leaders than these fuckwits. Look at Leo Varadkar, for example.
I was just thinking.
I mean, what that is? He is
the fucking Healy Rays.
Healy Rays. All of these fucking dickheads. They are the best in that island. I mean, you go into a pub, it's like the Irish comedy world. Like you're like, the comedy we got on. It's like, is that it? You meet fucking hilarious people out on the street. You go outside Knockdons and Galway, or you fucking go in the sheepwalk in Swinford. You'll hear witty, zingy one-liners, and you're like, why the fuck aren't you on TV, man? And it's the same with politics.
Music is the same in Ireland as well. We talked about that before as well. You go to a gig, or you'd be in a bar and there'd be somebody playing. You'd be going, oh, that's okay. And you go back to a party and everybody would be passing around the guitar. Everyone's fucking better at the party that was playing at the fucking gig. But nobody gets a chance in Ireland, is it? Like, musically?
No. Man, it's Sweden's the same way. It's all a closed shop, and it's all who you know. And as George Carlin would say, it's now become a cliche. It's a big club and you ain't in it.
I don't want to be in it.
No, I don't myself, man. I really don't want to be in it. And I think, I get why he toured off. I mean, I remember like years ago, I was like, I want to be in big films, want to be in big productions. I was thinking big. And he was like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm happy enough just doing things in my room. And I get that now. I get what he's about, because when you have it, you like look at the internet.
Your
Could I
life's
have a
gone.
conversation like this? Like if I went on to prime time, first of all, they'd never have me on prime time because I would talk sense, or basically I'd speak the truth. There's no way I'd be allowed on any fucking chat show or political discussion. Vincent Brown, I don't know, maybe, but I would speak honestly about things, and
Yeah,
you
but
can't have people
unless you're
speaking
doing that,
honestly.
unless you're doing the narrative in Ireland, you're not going to get there. You know, it's like whether I agree with them or not, but you met John O'Connor, you call him, the traveller lad that was in Love Hate.
Yeah, John Connors.
Yeah, John, that's what you call him. Yeah, regardless of like, I didn't share his opinions, but when he came out and said he was pro life or whatever, and he was and all the media darlings were, you know, were obviously pro choice or whatever, and I'm probably pro choice myself. But the thing, he was absolutely lost jobs. He lost,
Mm.
and I was thinking like I don't agree with him, but Jesus Christ, it's his own personal opinion. Like he should be entitled to his opinion, right?
Well, the thing is, like for me, like in my younger years, right, there are things that I have vastly different opinions at this stage in my life than I did in my early 20s.
That's
Vastly
good.
different.
People are
You know,
supposed
it's
to.
like I remember me and my ex-girlfriend, she came over to Galway, right? And I've obviously been lived in Sweden. Got a bit careless one night, went to the chemist the next day in Ballyban. And I was like, they're like, oh, this really cozy old, you know, older woman was in there. She's like, hello, how are you? How can I help you? I was like, so Sarah was like, like fucking gothic looking chick being on with an American kind of accent going, hi, we're in here to get the morning after pill. Like this. And she's like, we don't do that in here. You have
Fucking
to
hell.
go to the. And we're like, okay, cool. Why are you whispering? We didn't give a fuck, like, you know what I mean? And
So you can order here in fucking Uber Eats,
can you fuck?
genuine Walt and everything. Yeah, it's like you can order all fucking sorts of shit, and you can't order a beer.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, like,
you can go into Walt now, which is like for anybody that doesn't live in Sweden, it's like Uber Eats. You can like order burgers off McDonald's or pizza or whatever. You can also order supermarket stuff, and you can also order like lube and fucking vibrators and handcuffs and anything you want. But you can't
anything you
order. You
need.
can't get a beer. You can't get a fucking beer. It's crazy, like.
Like, do you know what? John Joe says, ooh, honesty, very unpopular with the media government complex. But, you know, the thing is, like I've said, I think we've had the last 50 years, let's say. I watching George Galloway was on with Neil Oliver, um,
I
having
like
a
it.
very interesting conversation. And he was saying, like, I was at a wedding last week. I saw the bride and groom. They were absolutely blooming. And you realize all of the 50 years we have been bombarded with free love, menage a trois. And really, people want to get married and have monogamous relationships. And we're told that's going to lead to happiness. See, here's the thing, all these social things like, you know, abortion, gay marriage, all this kind of stuff, it costs nothing. So they give you this and be like, hey, look what we've given you. But really, they're fucking fleecing the gaff and they're taking the TV out the back door. So these are basically, you know, these are kind of like, yeah, for a very small, you know, it's like they're progressive issues that do not make any difference to the fact that all of us are having our futures robbed off us by kleptocratic institutions and rogue financial institutions. And like I look at the EU, man, and what that's turned into is a federation, a federal state, which basically, if you have like every massive institution, the CCCP, the USSR, USA, now the EU, you will always have a select few people running the top on the committee at the top, calling the shots. Sure, there's votes and like look at anything in the US that they try and pass. You know, it's like the House of Representatives votes no, the president votes yes, the
There's
Congress votes.
only two parties, though. The word of
Oh yeah,
democracy. Two
And
parties.
it's all a uni party as well. It's like Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, same shit. One gets you into a recession, the other one keeps you in it.
So Fianna Fáil, that's an interesting one. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael for a century hated one another. They were the opponents on fucking the Civil War. And the minute Sinn Féin got any type of remember Sinn Féin got a majority, and these sworn enemies for 100 years went together because their politics were pretty much the same. They basically admitted that they were the same people. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like after all the hate, and like you say, one brings you into recession, one brings you out. And they're the exact same fucking.
They're all World Economic Forum. They're all working. Like this is when people talk about it. Most people don't grasp it, man. It's like, oh, that's conspiracy shit. It's just a bit of a meeting where people get together and hobnob, which it probably is as well. But the fact that you've got Henry Kissinger's protege, Klaus Schwab, we will sit here in about, I don't know, 10 years, and we will all have a chip in our brain, and we can all see the thoughts that we have. It's like, you won't even have any fucking privacy. Like, this is how they've got all the money they need. They've got all the land they need. And it's like, what else can we fucking take?
Control. And do you remember, like, when that first, like, you will own nothing, when that first thing came out, everyone was going, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, it's not real, it's not. And then when it was actually proven, it came out, it was actually on their website.
In his book, The Great Reset, where he talks about a world of limited wars to depopulate people. Like, don't forget, right? As your man O'Sullivan was saying, Putin was also a world economic young leader. He came up through that. The whole fucking war could be orchestrated. Like,
the richest man in the world.
Well, I don't know. The Rothschilds must be fucking. I heard they're like trillionaires.
Probably in cash though.
Oh, in liquid assets.
Man's fucking swimming in the fucking sea, fucking natural gas.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that's true as well. I don't trust any of them. Don't trust any of them. Like, I remember being in EOS and I met these really sound lads from Texas. One of them was the drummer of Whitesnake's son. Fucking sound dudes. We're sitting there at this restaurant called Harmony, looking out over the bay at Milliportus. And I've never seen a private yacht this size, Rod. It was like a fucking cruise liner ferry, right? It was huge. The back of it opened up and two catamarans and a speedboat came sort of razzing around the bay. It dwarfed the bay. And I was like, and there was a Black Hawk. It wasn't like the military Black Hawk. It was the presidential style one they have. It was like that, a Black Hawk sitting on the back of this fucking ship. And I said to these lads in Texas, I was like, what the hell? Who the fuck owns that? Oh, that's George Bush Sr.'s boat. What, like, where do you get that kind of money? Do you know what I mean? Where'd you get that kind of money being sound?
He stuck a fiver on the World Trade Center being bombed at $1 million to 1.
Yeah. He was there on the steps when Oswald was shot as well, wasn't he?
He was.
Wasn't he also the head of the CIA around the time when Kennedy was taken out?
Oh yeah, it was them. Like, it was the Bushes and the Kennedys. Was the kind of two power families.
This Pride float sponsored by Raytheon and Pfizer. The weapons manufacturer is my personal favorite.
That Raytheon used to be in Derry.
Did it?
Yeah, and it was like, and the locals were very fucking unhappy about it for a long time. But they said that the only thing they made was that Kevlar or whatever, like the bulletproof stuff. But it was found out there was more to it than that. And
I'd say there was.
So let me see if I can just find what year it was. Because there was an incident, and one of my friends was involved in it, where they went in, they smashed into the thing during the days of publicity stunt and started throwing the computers out the windows. And genuinely, it was like just to bring attention to the fact that this company was there, because like what were they doing in Derry? And they eventually moved out. But there were some people in Derry who were going crazy about it. They were saying that these guys lost us our jobs.
What do you make of Gaddafi, Rod? I'd say you're a good fan of him.
I wouldn't say I was a fan, but it wasn't against him either. It was like
today I was looking it up and I was like, So how are things in Libya now? Totally fucked.
Oh, it's destroyed. But like as
11 years later.
like for what he like, obviously he helped out the Republican movement quite a lot. So, I don't know. I'm not Libyan.
It's just, it's sick when you see his son meeting with Hillary Clinton, and she's like shaking hands, smiling. She's this kind of fucker where John Lennon wrote in Working Class Hero, first you've got to learn how to smile when you kill if you want to be like the folks on the hill. And that she is like, look at it is right. Libya's got a booming slave trade now. Where are all these where's BLM and all these people talking about that? Do you know what I mean?
Nobody's talking about it, right?
No one cares because it doesn't suit the agenda. That's why.
So I don't know if you know this guy. He's called Eamon McCann from Derry, and he's a mate of mine. I know him a long time. But he was like head of the civil rights movement. He's like people before profit and stuff now. But he's taken a step back a bit recently. But he was the main guy that led that thing in the Raython to throw the computers out the window.
Really?
Yeah, because nobody believed him it was there initially. And but very, very outspoken. He was like looked on as a crank for years. Like the likes of the Sinn Féin and the IRA all hated him because he spoke out against them as well, and even though he was like bogside. But very much socialist, very much like very before his time, I think. Very much about the community, very much anti-monarchy, his thing was it doesn't matter if the British leave, like who's taking over then?
Yeah, who's filling the void?
Look
who's filling the void now in Ireland.
Exactly.
Like they're like. Do you see that the clip of Radka watching the rugby over in Washington? He's like this. It's like he's such a twat.
Dude, is what a fellow dairyman. I'm not doing him a sheep shagger, right? I'm gonna go. We're good close neighbours though, just on the border.
Yeah, let me go and get a beer 1 second. Hold the fort there, hey.
Started off in Derry. Yeah, Libya's an interesting one. It was like, obviously it was.
Hey, at least we got to get the we got to have some virtual pints together.
Yeah, no way. Yeah. I kind of tore the arse out of it last night a bit, so.
Get to hang out with them, man. I live in Muff, but I'm from Derry.
I live in Muff. Good spot there.
Muff.
The Muff Diving Club.
Fucking some boys, huh?
They made a fortune with their t-shirts, It's this tiny village, I'd say there's only, I don't know how many lives there now. The dude, but it's like, I would say it's only maybe 500 max. And they made t-shirts because they appeared in the Graham Norton show. There actually is a diving club in Muff. And genuinely, and they made these t-shirts.
Oh, Muff Diving Club.
So this girl started a thing called, maybe the dude can tell us better, because it's happened since I left, but she started a drink, like a brewery. It was called Muff Liquor. Legitimately.
It's fucking brilliant, man. Muff Liquor.
Because Muff's right on the border with Derry. So it's like, if we were going into Derry from the Letterkenny side, you'd always have stopped Muff just for a drink.
Aye.
That's Muff Liquor.
So let's see what I made some notes here about other shite to be chatting about. Yeah, it's pretty much the same fucking stuff. I think we covered a lot of stuff. I was basically
you spoke much about your 40th birthday a few weeks ago.
Oh fucking hell, man. That was I think that was the kick up the arse I needed in life, was when I woke up after that mega session and I was like, shit man, I've got to get rolling.
Wow. It was like 6 weeks ago and I'm still hungover.
And fair play to Wad, he bought me a lovely pair of green and red, or red and green Adidas, but I put the green laces on it. She looked fucking great.
Yeah. But they were like, I couldn't. I was going to get to the green ones with the red stripe, but the feet are too big. For
Yeah,
anybody that's listening here, he's got fucking size 12 feet.
yeah, feet like a duck.
Not
But,
today.
my brother-in-law used to call me Bogfoot. He was like, "Oh yeah, you need that for the soft." It's like he said, evolution kicked in, and I needed wide feet for the soft, boggy ground in Mayo.
There was a guy in the corner and the huge feet as well, like Dabber's brother Lindo, and the boys they were like size 14 or something, but his nickname was 10 to 2 because the only way he could walk was his 2 feet where they got there.
10 to 2. Hey, here's one about, man, Gaddafi was a fucking legend in my opinion. Gaddafi was probably the most liberal of all the leaders of any country in the
He
Arab
was the most
countries.
liberal of the dictators, anyway. He definitely was.
He was a sound dictator.
No, but
He got,
he didn't know he was.
yeah, and you know what? He had a plan which was going to be the eighth wonder of the world, where he was going to re-irrigate the Sahara using the Nile that was just basically running off into the sea anyway, and he was going to use that and re-irrigate it a whole lot. I think what happened with him is fucking disgusting, man. What they did to Libya, like it's a tinderbox of nutters now. Like there's literally, it's a failed state. It's fucked. But the IMF will be in there at some stage. I'm sure they're already in there. Like, and
Must be already. What happened there was like for everything Gaddafi done, Lockerbie arming the IRA with fucking like he armed the IRA enough to keep the war going for 100 years. Keep the rebellion going because they caught one boat and they knew that another 3 get in.
He was
exactly.
Yeah, and also he wanted the gold back dinar, the African dinar. And you know what, like, because he was just like, hang on a minute, you're taking all my oil and you're giving me fucking paper in your own currency, and it's like, fuck that. You know what I mean? It's like same with Saddam, man. Saddam was saying the same thing, and here's the thing: the media always paints the picture. Oh, there's humanitarian. I guarantee you, keep your eye on Hungary, because you've got that Samantha Powers, who's an Irish woman. She's working for USAID, and guarantee you there's going to be some unrest. Why do you think Hungary kicked fucking Soros out, man? That's where he's from. Because they go in with all these government subsidized, all these government subsidized NGOs that basically the taxpayer are paying to fucking erode their own culture and way of life, because they get in then and they get fucking state. I mean, I don't know how much money Ireland is paying to NGOs, but it's in the billions at this stage per annum.
We're still paying off. We'll be paying off the 2008 crash for the next.
Yeah, and what do you think of this crack with SVB and Silicon Valley Bank and Credit Suisse and all this? Do you reckon they reckon that the pandemic kind of, because we were looking at a crash around 2019 that would have made Paj Mahaj, welcome to the party, sir. But the 2019 should have been around that time where we were looking at a depression, never mind a recession. And I think the pandemic kind of like put the brakes on that for a bit.
It gave all the big boys time to get out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The point is, like, there's always going to be, where there's commodities crash over a 2-year period, and it was tech's turn. And that's what they do, because they need these prices to go up and down. They can't keep going up forever because they're not going to. So they'll start shorting it down before it goes down. If you ever want to make money in the stock market, look at what Nancy Pelosi's husband buys.
Oh, yeah.
You invest in it and do the same. You can't lose.
Do you ever watch Tim Dillon?
Yeah.
He's fucking brilliant, man.
I haven't watched him in a while right enough, but
I saw this thing the other day, right? It was like this guy is like, hey, how are you? Hey, man, do you have any? I'm just wondering, do you have any water? I'm really thirsty and I need water. And it's like, you meet some homeless guy, man. He's like, what, you want water? And he's like, yeah, just a little bit of water, man. Yeah, okay. He's like, you know what? I was going to give $500 to the person who gave me water. And they're like, man, shit. And then films them crying. And it's like he's made a whole fucking career right out of let's see, we'll watch this now and I'll show you what I mean. So let me show you this video and then I'll show you the genius of Tim Dillon. Let me see. Okay, I'll give it homeless woman gives water. Let's see. You'll see what I mean. Oh, what's the fucking... Oh, we got Chris Perez ringing. Yo, my man Babylon, what's going on?
I'm turning on a light. Please don't hang up on me.
Me and Rod are talking on the stream if you want to hop in for the crack.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Can you send me a link?
Yeah, one sec. I'm going to put it in the comment section. Big Mom, it's in the comment section.
Are you on a YouTube link? Am I getting fucking appear to a YouTube link?
No, you're just on the phone. I'm talking to you on the phone.
Oh, okay. No, not that I was being rude.
Have you been on the Tullies, have you?
How amazing is it that Martin Maloney... Okay.
He's on the Tullies. He's on the fucking Tullies.
I'm not. I just woke up.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, you hop on the stream, lad.
Look at my eyes.
Look at my eyes, man.
You American?
Is he American?
Last time I seen him, he was getting punched.
Hungary is portrayed as an ethno-state here in Canada. I mean, like, man, the Canadian lads, they must be just like fucking Trudeau, people kind. He's a he's a twat in sheep's clothing. I haven't looked into it much, but it seems like they're just rejecting neoliberalism in a nutshell, in a fucking nutshell. He's on the gargle. Right, so I'm just gonna try and find what's this fucking dude's name? Actually, you know what? I just saw a thing here which says we should watch this for the crack. It said, friend apologize. Oh, God, I'm gonna put it into the teen who pushed friend off bridge apologizes. I guess we're gonna have to watch that just out of fuck. Have you seen it? I've never seen it before, but
it's old, like a year or two old, I think. Brilliant.
Shit, man, what a fucking nutter. But I guess it's one way of making.
So I was going to jump, I don't want to jump, and then your mom just fucks her up.
It's one way of making it happen, though. Do you know what I mean? It's like the rest is up to gravity. Then. Okay, here we go.
Who shoved her friend off a 60-foot-high bridge will spend as much time in jail as her friend spent in the hospital.
Oh, fuck.
Attorneys thought they'd worked out a plea deal to keep the young woman out of jail, but the judge had another idea.
Punishment for the teen who pushed her friend off a bridge. 19-year-old Taylor Smith was in tears as she was escorted away in handcuffs after being sentenced to 2 days in jail.
2 days? I thought it was going to be like 3 weeks or something at least.
And prosecutors recommended no jail time. But the judge refused to go along.
Jordan, I'm gonna push you. No.
This is the moment Taylor pushed Jordan Holgerson off the bridge in Washington State last August.
Ready?
Oh, fucking hell, man.
Jordan plunged 60 feet into the water.
Oh, belly flopped it.
First. She suffered 6 broken ribs and punctured lungs. At the sentencing, Taylor said she was sorry.
I'd like to sincerely apologize to Jordan Holgerson, her family, and friends for the pain and humiliation I had caused by my mindless action that occurred last
Mindless
summer.
action?
Then off she went to jail for 2 days. Jordan says she's ready to move on.
Not good.
I think it's probably just...
I would say the majority of my friends would have done the same when we were 19. It was like...
A work crew. She had to do a bit of graft afterwards. Not good. Not good at all, Rodders. Mark Normand is a legend. Seeing Shane Gillis live in Dublin in August. Who's Shane Gillis? Are you Okay, well, we missed some stuff. Are you a fan of Legion of Skanks? Morton. Imagine the Puerto Rican rattlesnake doing a stand-up tour on Ireland that he'd be banned. Legion of Shanks. No, I haven't heard of him. She should have cannonballed. Shane
You can do
Gillis
whatever
is
you want.
lovely.
You can do whatever you want. I think like when it comes to comedy and like even music and all, you can do whatever you want in Ireland if you're not Irish. Like people don't seem to give you the same shit, do they?
No, they don't. I was going to try like you know what I'm going to do. I'll give you like I've given you the you know this. So there's this guy. He's like a Latino dude, and he basically goes around to like you know he's like, hey, here's $500, and it's like they start crying and all this kind of stuff. Maybe if I just go, okay, $500 to remember all these fucking like social experiment. I'm cold. This child didn't have a jacket on. Homeless man gets $10,000 surprise. Fuck me, I could do one of them myself, man. I'd be fucking I'd be crying if I got one of them.
When I first moved here, it was like when I moved here, it was 2016. It was just like the start of or it was the time of like where the huge amount of refugees had came at the exact same time. And there used to be all there was certain parts of the city where they'd be sleeping basically on the street. It doesn't happen anymore. But outside on Torgate, where the old Dubliner was, the bar, there was like a lot of Romy gypsies were along there. And there's a McDonald's beside it. And me and Stevie used to go and buy like fucking 20 burgers for like 20 quid and come out and give them to them. And it was like just when we're drunk and just
and I bet they still fucking ask you for money. Like
yeah, but what happened was like from a few months later, like there was people saying to us, guys, you're gonna have to stop beating the gypsies. No matter where we went, man, there was like 30
like the seagulls.
Oh, man, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, Nick Mullen. He follows me. That's fucking Mulldog Forever from Cumtown. He follows me on Instagram. I'd love to get him on the show, man. He's funny as fuck. So I was gonna say, let's watch this and let's just see. I'll show you this one second.
I keep forgetting there's other people here.
Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. All right, check this out.
Christmas gift this year. I was seeing if you could surprise me with something that you had for Christmas. I'm gonna close my eyes.
I know. Ready?
All right.
Christmas to you.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Not a bad hat, though.
Chocolates in a hat.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're amazing, man.
You made my day.
You're beautiful. What's your name?
Norma.
You close your eyes and I got a gift for you.
There we go, 500 bucks.
$500 for you.
Here we go. Here's the tears.
Such a sweetheart.
No. I cannot.
Yes,
for you. No.
you're amazing. You're so beautiful.
For real?
Yes, your heart's incredible.
Okay, so this is that's the crack, right? Which it's nice, but it in let's say if you want to talk biblically, Rod, they say if you're going to do a good deed, don't let one hand know what the other hand is doing. Basically, he's capitalizing on it for fucking mega clicks.
And he would have got better looking for 500 quid as well if he'd looked around.
so let's see.
Yeah, but
What Tim Dillon did here is fucking it's so on the money, man. Here we go. This is one of the fucking best videos I've seen in years.
There are so many people out there right now whose lives don't slap. So what we're going to do is we're going to hand them out jars of my own artisanal mustard. This is 100% stone ground artisanal mustard. Product link in the description. Let's go right now and find some people that could really use a jar of mustard. Obviously, don't record this, but we only actually have one jar, so we need to find like a dude without a scar or like a family. We could give it to one of the kids. If it's like a guy who's bleeding, YouTube will demonetize it. So let's just try to find somebody who looks like they need a little help, but not everything, you know? All right, bro, get him. He looks like really homeless. Yo, what up, bro? Listen, it's your lucky day, fam. Some people say it's Christmas. I call it flavors. We got artisanal mustard for you. This is my own company. I started this company. I was 13 years old. It's worth $150 million right now. How does that sound? Are you getting this? Can you get me and him, bro? Thanks, dude. You got to fucking pay attention, man. The last time the lighting was bad. Are you Steve will do it? No, I'm not.
Steve
you buy a
will
couple
do
of
it.
jars of this, shout us out on Insta, Twitter, help build our brand. That's fine, man. Like a lot of people are doing shit. I don't even care about the clout. You know what I mean? Smash that like button right now if you want to end homelessness. And what I'm just saying right now is like, it's just, I'm blessed to be at this point in my life. I'm 14 years old. And I own 12 companies. Look at the sunset. Look how fucking beautiful that is. That's beautiful. You know Gary Vee, dude? Bro, it's like Gary Vee says, content is king, but marketing is queen.
Who's Gary Vee?
Take this mustard, bro. I got you, bro. Always remember that. Content is king, but marketing is queen. I'm out.
Fucking hell. If you close your eyes, it sounds like Jake Paul.
So I think you did a lot of great work today. So smash that like button if you want to end homelessness.
Smash
and remember,
that like button.
your brand shouldn't be about what you have. It should be about what you give.
Very good.
Yeah, man, he's fucking hilarious, man. She's. Man, he did a brilliant one about like Jimmy Kimmel, and there's a channel called Crying Shark, and they've just like basically edited the footage together. So it's like, can you imagine, you're working in a steel mill in Pittsburgh, you work it all fucking day, and the only thing you gotta come home to watch is Jimmy Kimmel talking to fucking Robert De Niro. And it's like, oh, you were in Italy. I was in Italy recently. And then he's saying like, Post Malone and Jimmy Kimmel, they go into this Olive Garden in New York City, and of all the places you can eat in New York City, you go to the Olive Garden, and it's all, ha, 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 look, we're in the Olive Garden. And then it's like, and the waitress, she's been working for like 14 hours. She's taking speed just to fucking keep up with it. When she goes home at night, she has to put her feet in, soak her feet in water because the blisters on her feet, and he's like, he just fucking nails it, man.
Who's that? See what they're saying about the pranks go wrong in the hood. Did you ever watch any of them?
Oh yeah, the idiot lads. You want to get clipped, bro? You want to bang, bro? And I was watching them the other day. They're fucking hilarious, man. But that guy who just goes, oh yeah, is it those lads? Is it?
No, they kind of get away with it a bit, but there's ones where one guy just gets really punched and they go after him and he's like, it's a prank.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like the fucking balls to do that, man. Where's the, oh yeah, this is fucking brilliant, man. Like, this is one of the funniest things. I mean, what?
Jimmy Kimmel.
What's your problem? What? What's all that about?
Oh.
Your problem? They keep walking, bro.
Oh.
What the hell?
Oh man.
Oh. Dude, fuck you, you fuck.
You're fucking up to do this. You got to do this.
Oh. You okay, buddy? Why'd you do that? Why did you do that? Why?
Oh.
What's wrong with you?
Oh.
Hey! What? Get the fuck away from me. Who's what you think you are? What?
Oh.
What? Did you fucked up or something, bro? Huh? Oh, don't step up. I hate you. Step in closer. I'm warning you.
Oh.
What is your problem?
I'm gonna go whatever to security up there. I'm gonna fucking find your fool.
I love the way he's just looking at like cereal containers.
What? Huh?
Look at the color of them.
Ay, hijo de la verga. Excuse me?
Look at this for a reaction. This is fucking brilliant.
Verga. Ay, hijo de la verga. Excuse me? What's up?
Holy crap, dude. You okay? Easy does it.
Easy does it.
Back away from me.
Don't gay on me.
Look here.
Oh.
What the fuck are you doing, dude? Problem with me?
What the fuck you doing, dude?
Go away.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh.
What the hell? What are you doing? Get away from me. What the fuck was this?
So good.
What the hell?
Look,
Oh.
What the hell? What are you doing? Get away from me. What the fuck was this? What is your problem? Seriously? Hey. I'll call target staff to get you out of here.
Oh.
What the fuck you doing that for, man? Hey, what's your problem, man? You fucking stupid or what? Don't fucking do that to me, man. Get the fuck away from me, bitch. Get away from me, man.
I'm actually gonna I'm gonna save the rest for a few minutes from now because I don't want to leave it rolling too long in case I get another channel strike.
Channel strike, have you?
Shaunie's in the mix. How are you fucking Sean? Hey, these people are too well mic'd. Says yeah, I think it's just some of the funniest, like because that was always what we would do in school. Down
to me.
Ooh. Neil Eccles is after you. How you, Neil? Show the one with the pranks go badly. Is that the idiot crew where they're like, yo, man, what you doing in my hood? It's my corner, man. You want to get banged? He's like, what the fuck you talking about, man? It's like, and to be fair, they've some fucking balls doing that shit in the US, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was lying in bed last night thinking about going to Arizona, and I was like, we have to go through fucking Tijuana, which is in the top 5 most dangerous cities in the world.
Is that what you're flying into?
Yeah. Well, it's like fucking Paris, Mexico, Stockholm, Paris, Mexico City, Tijuana, cross the border to San Diego.
That's why I didn't fly. That's why I didn't book any flights, man. They were like, the flight from here into Phoenix was like.
I mean, it's going to be
or something. It was fucking mental.
Yeah, I mean,
I love you.
I was lying in bed last night going, fuck. You know, like I haven't been to the States in 10 years, but I remember before I went to the States in 2011, I was just like, oh man, what am I doing? I'm going over to the States for a month.
How long are you over there for?
A couple of days. Maybe we might try and get to fucking Vegas for a night. I don't know. Have you been to Vegas, Rod?
No, there's no interest in going near Vegas, to be honest.
It's like Blackpool in the desert.
No, I've been in like.
Sean says, yeah, man, you wouldn't want to walk up to my Phoenix and moan sensually. That will end poorly. Do a Ross Kemp when you arrive, Martin. Absolutely. Scottsdale? Probably, yeah. Myself and Stevie Cowboy Kelly going to be doing a gig in the Irish Centre. So, yeah, we're not going to go to Maryvale. I've been doing my research today. Like, there's apparently some real fucking sketchy parts of Phoenix, such as South Mountain, Maryvale, a couple of these places. But I'm looking forward to it, though, man. It's I'll be glad when I get there. Treat it like Daddy Doyle, Deadly Skanks. Man, this place is giving me the willies. My bum was flapping a bit.
I'm well off my mannery.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you no more. I'm going to watch the rest of this. Oh, 1 second. Let's watch the rest of
But are
this.
you flying from the States then? You're doing a gig in London then as well, you Cowboy?
Yeah, so I have to fly back. I'm doing a gig in London then as well. If any of you viewers want to come to Harrow, trying to get another gig sorted, but I just haven't fucking.
The fuck was that? The fuck was that? Knock your shit out right here.
Doesn't look like a man who do much knocking, but don't underestimate him.
What the fuck are you doing? Who the hell are you?
What's his name, man?
That's the best one, yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Who the hell are you? Don't come up screaming in my
The
ear.
woman in the back. Unity.
Oh! What's the matter with you? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Are you on medication?
Could you please moan in my ear, Daddy?
I'm gonna have to call the police on you, man, if you don't behave.
Oh!
What's wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you videotaping this? Why the fuck is he coming over here talking my thick and ear? And you're fucking videotaping me!
Oh, yeah.
Scared me.
Oh, yeah.
How am I?
How am I? Somebody said,
You're not like no about okay people with that. You're not going to get punched too much.
So Ben, you say Scottsdale's incredible. Yeah, look, man, Phoenix looks like a really cool place. I remember the first time it properly came up on my radio. I was watching CD UK with Kat Deely, and she was interviewing Liam Gallagher over in Phoenix. She was like, "Down here in Phoenix, man, doing a gig over there, didn't he?" And I was like, "Fucking hell, man, they've got fans over there too." Will you partake in the legal cannabis? Oh, let's not mention anything here. It is legal. Ain't nothing wrong.
You'll not be injecting any of that shit.
The irony. Well, this video is hilarious, but I desperately want someone to respond with a punch. Oh yeah. I was gonna say the word. I wrote the other day on Twitter. The word of 2020. If circle back was the word of 2022, whataboutism is the word of 2023. Whataboutism. Well, look at Rod as me old skin and chat. Sorry, Era, didn't get you on tonight, mate. But next time we'll get you on. I know you've been waiting in the lobby patiently. But I'm going to have to fucking hit the bed. Rodders, man, thanks very much for coming on. Have you enjoyed yourself with this heavy, but then more crack was had?
It's been amazing, man. I'm glad we sorted out all the world's problems.
Yeah, we'll just send this video on to the fucking Wongans in the government, and they'll be like, "Can we get a Reaper drone over there and just take care of those guys in Sweden? Let's get a team over there."
Are you doing this going away party tomorrow?
I've got the kids tomorrow, man. I might get in for a little bit, but I have to because he'll be very sad if I don't. And I'd definitely be noted by my absence, but I'll give him a bell earlier on and might drop in for a little bit. You're going as well, yeah?
Don't really. Well, it's an excuse, isn't it?
for one final schlagen. Man, Brianine Turbot. Thanks very much, Brianine. How are you getting on? Any old crack with you? Fucking Brianine. I know that lad since I was fucking just about 13. Old neighbour mine, hey. But, Washburn for boys. Myself and that man played a great bit of fucking Wembley up on Santa Maria Green. On the ball alley. Oh,
so
the ball alley.
That Phoenix gig seems to be a lot of interest on it online. There's
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
Irish.
Load of Irish. They got a GA team out there in
Really?
Phoenix. Yeah.
Fuck.
So
I seen the
hopefully be sold out, I reckon.
That's class, huh?
Yeah, it should be.
It's in the Irish Centre as well. There's actual
Yeah, man, you want to see it? I'll show you the vibe. I want to see it to believe it, lad. You want to see it to believe it?
That'd be good crack, yeah.
It's like, to look at it, you'd think it was like on a cloudy day. It looks like behind the shopping centre in Square.
Say Supermax. And is Perez helping out with this? Is he?
He's coming as well.
Well, was him sorted out, or is he just going as a?
Oh no, he's coming as a. And it was Matt Strangeways, a sound skin from upstate New York, living over there, who's helped to sort this out. Fair play to him. So big shout out to my main man Matt. So check this out. Wait to see these images. Look at that. That's in Arizona.
Fucking hell, that's amazing.
You know, this fucking bollocks of cookies is so annoying. So there you have it. There, it's the like. Look at that. It's in Arizona. Like,
I really like that. That's really cool.
It is, isn't it? Not too bad at all. Hey,
cool man.
Right, look at that. Right, if my dad was able to, lovely bit of brickwork. Yes. It's nice, isn't it?
Masons didn't do that.
No, they fucking didn't. I was going to say, so I was talking to my dad the other day. He rang me, and he was saying he met these three lads who were in Boland's pub, and they recreated the picture of himself, Owen, and Pete when we're in Series 2, and they put a picture of themselves up, and then later on there was a picture of my dad as well. So I missed it, checked it, and then I spoke to my dad, and then I went back into that message, and I saw the picture then with my dad. And then my dad was like, lovely lads. I took him down the sheep walk to meet Eugene, and he'd gone home. The cunt.
Jeez, don't drink.
Yeah, I want to get to Toronto as well. And I definitely want to go to Buffalo, eat some of those buffalo wings, man. I have to. Please just let me eat those wings. But we're nearly on the 2-hour mark, lads. I'm going to have to fucking go to bed, innit? 2 lads from me will walk into a brothel in Arizona. And go on, Sean. I'm waiting. Go on. Well, but anyway, listen, Wad, thanks very much. Sorry I didn't get to you tonight, mate. Yeah, everyone else in the chat, nice to see you. And if you listen to this later on and you've got to tip the fucking main man himself and you want to throw us a touch, paypal.me/Maloney's Digest, the touch. I'd be most appreciative of anything you got.
Thumbs up for $5, more than a year for 20.
Wadders, I love you to bits, man.
Likewise, brother.
We had fucking some cracking Hamburg, didn't we?
Oh,
Amateurs and dancing guns came to take away our sons.
You should put some of them videos up, actually.
We should do. We were fucking men behind the wire that night, I tell you.
But it was like it was such a condensed trip as well, because we were landing to the party late as well, and so everyone was already had been there a day and a night, and we were under so much pressure even before that, even to go. We didn't even get there, remember?
Fucking pressure. My ex-man was just like flying the ointment to the max. But I tell you one thing, though, we spent like the end of both nights just knocking around in a kebab shop, but it was like it was the best place to be. There was food and like cheap beer on tap. It was like, and that curry sauce with the chips, man. Oh my own.
The mayonnaise, the powdered mayonnaise was class. I jest. No, it was a great trip. Really
that mayonnaise was a slow start, but a strong finisher.
But it was a good solid crew. Like there was only like what, maybe 8 or 9 of us there.
Yeah.
It was like.
Don't worry, mister. We're not going to a brothel. Wouldn't need to pay for it anyway.
I was looking for the punchline.
Oh yeah. I'm still waiting for the punchline. It's like that album. Well, there's this. I think there's an album by Extreme called "Waiting for the Punchline." Anyway, lads and lasses, and Uncle Wadders, thank you very much, lads. God bless, and I'll talk to you later.
Bye bye.